deposit. Getting started is very simple. Right? All they need is a copy of your driver's license, proof of insurance, credit card with a refundable $500 deposit at delivery, and I'll introduce you to our financial service manager. Fair enough? Now, with all due respect to Lou, I've said that 40,000 million times. Was there a difference in the tone, Eleanor? What was the difference in the tone from somebody not in the industry? One was maybe a little scripted?
Rehearsed, yeah.
Rehearsed, and one was sincere? Let's just do this. You came in today, I'm here today, by chance, let's do this. So that's how we get going, and we know the sale starts, and what do we want to do right now? What do we want to hear right now? No. And we don't slug, right? Like we don't just slouch over, right? Anybody ever been to court? Anybody ever watched a court case? It's funny, I was in Toronto this week and had a doctor's appointment, and I watched the movie called The Judge. Has anybody heard it? Ever seen the movie The Judge? Robert Downey Jr.
My son.
Robert Duvall.
Oh, great movie. But anyway, the theme of the story is very simple. The dad and the son, Robert Duvall and Robert Downey Jr. are estranged. The mother dies. The family comes back together. The dad's a judge for 100 years in a small little community, hits somebody, and the son's a big shooter lawyer in a big city whose marriage is on the rocks, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, they come together. And the dad doesn't want him to represent him, so he hires this hick-hunt lawyer to represent him. And the defense, or sorry, the prosecution says, blah, 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 and then they show this lawyer, right, who's sitting, and he does this. Oh. And I thought of this immediately, because what does the jury think? What is the jury looking at? Looking at what? Body language, right? So if we were attorneys, and we were on stage, right, and we're getting kicked out of us by the prosecutor, are we this? What are we? Keep it coming, right? We're good. Keep it coming, we're good. Keep it coming, we're good. Right? No problem, no problem. What? This is easy. I do this all day. No problem. So we want to keep that in the back of our mind. Remember, the judge, whatever the cue is, when you hear no, no problem. Because now we want to reframe. I hear what you're saying, right? But we want to go on. So we have two options. When we hear no, we have the traditional approach. What do you mean no? No? Are you stupid? $199 a month? It's the end of the month. Let me go talk to my manager. I'll give him another $50. Will you buy it then? We laugh, but it's true, right? Or we'll say to ourselves, we've got to build massive rapport, right? We've got to build massive rapport. I hear what you're saying, Jim. But do you understand the idea? Does the idea make sense to you, what we're talking about? What have I done? So I'm building rapport, right? I've gathered some intel, and I'm moving down the line. And Louis, what do I say to the customer? So we're back from our test drive, and I say to you, it's as simple as this. Hit me again, Louis.
I'm sorry, just introduction or?
Yeah, we're gonna use our
Okay.
all I need. So we're gonna use that segue into close.
Okay.
It's as simple as this.
It's as simple as this. All I need is a driver's license, valid insurance, and a refundable $500 deposit, and we can get started.
Fair enough.
Fair enough?
Fair enough. And I say no.
I hear you.
Whoa, but where am I now?
You're off the line.
Jesus, merciful. I'm way up here. No. My goal is to do what? And I do that by reframing. Reframing means I'm going to ask you a question, right? Right? I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask permission. So the first thing I'm going to do is acknowledge and say, I what?
I hear you.
I hear you. Yeah. Can I ask you a question? Now hit me. Go ahead.
I hear you. Can I ask you a question? Does the idea make sense?
Say Todd.
Todd, I hear you.
No. Todd.
Todd,
I hear you.
I hear you.
Can I ask you a question?
Can I ask you a question?
Certainly.
Does that give sense to you? What we're doing today?
Does the idea make sense to you? Do you understand the idea? Right?
I'm sorry, get one more time.
Does the idea make sense to you? Do you understand the idea?
Does the idea make sense to you?
Do you understand the idea?
Do you understand the idea?
One more time.
Do you understand the idea? Does it make sense to you?
Perfect. See the difference? See, even his head gesture changed. See that? Like he was leaning forward. So does the idea make sense to you? Do you understand the idea? So we've got to go sense first, Does the idea make sense to you? And then we're looking for some confirmation, right? So does the idea make sense to you? Do you understand the idea? What am I doing, guys? I'm just building what?
Rapport.
Am I trying to sell them a car at this point?
No. You have to get them back on the line.
I gotta get you back. So if you say, we know 90% of the time they're gonna say yes, yeah, of course the idea makes sense from going from a 2002 Magentis with 347,000 K to a 2015 makes sense. It might be way too much money yet, and they're probably not gonna buy the car yet, but what does it allow me to do?
Allow you to continue with your presentation.
It allows me to continue with my presentation, right? So I've reframed, and now I'm back on the line. Now I can continue to go where? I can continue with my presentation, right? So again, that's the important part. So when I say it's as simple as, and I hear the word no, we must say, I hear you. Acknowledge you hear them, ask the question. Can I ask you a question? Do you understand the idea? Does the idea make sense? Or sorry, do you understand? Does the idea make sense to you? Sense first. Does the idea make sense to you? Do you understand the idea? Right? Always, always, and with the proper tone as if not as if, because you do care, right? That's what you want to know. Remember this too, the customer, when you first pitch and they say no, are they anxious or are they very relaxed, normally? Why are they anxious?
They're waiting to get it.
They're waiting for the sale to close, right? It's like being at a resort. You go to that timeshare for the free dinner. Oh, when are they going to ask me for the money? So, again, do we want to be overly certain with them at this point? Do we want an energy level way up here jumping up and down like a kangaroo? No, we just want to come across as reasonable people. Remember in the close, what were the 3 closes, Luke?
Secrecy, no,
Come on, guys.
certainty,
And
then
reasonability. And when I ask you, does the idea make sense to you? Do you understand the idea? What tone am I looking for there? You're just reasonable guys, right? It's so important. It's so important. Other dealerships aren't talking about this, right? They're worried about the sunshine and the traffic, whether the balloons are on the car. So again, remember, we want to make sure that we control the pace by identifying where the customer's at. Normally, they're not going to be at a real good level at that point, all right? So listen again to what the customer says, because at this point, they may only be a 5 out of 10 on something, right? So if you say, hey, do you understand the idea? Does the idea make sense to you? Do you understand the idea? And he says, yeah. Well, you might have to talk a little bit more about what you're talking about, right? Because he's not at a 10. At 10, he would have said yes. So you want to loop back and just retouch on again. You know, Jim, there's more to operating the automobile than just your car payment. Would you agree that the cost of insurance, I mean, gas prices are low today, but they're not going to continue to be that low. And then the incremental cost of repair, again, you'd agree, all goes into the total of operation. Yes? Fair enough? And the customer's going to say what? Yes. And what did I get again? Another yes. Now I can move down the road. You know, Jim, getting started is really easy. Like I mentioned before, all I need is a bum, 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 and bum. If I get a no again, am I on or off the line? I'm off the line again. Holy crap. Right? So I'm off the line again. What happens now? What haven't we done yet? We've talked about what? Remember, we want to keep our powder dry, right? So our presentation is short, we're quick, we're professionals, so we're moving quickly. At this point, we probably talked about the car, the options of the car. We talked a little bit about the financial benefit, because part of our job is recommending financial advice for consumers who are in the market for an automobile, making a sound financial decision. So now we've got to go, hey, listen, if they like the car, which they probably do, we've got to get down to us, right? So here's where we make it that metaphor I talked to you about, right? So if he said no, right, and we got him back on by asking him a question, does the idea make sense to you? Do you understand the idea? And he says, yeah. Should I continue to talk? Or if he says, yeah, should I try to close again? What did I say? You may want to review a little bit about what just came out of you. So if you're talking about the cost of ownership, touch on the ownership again, short, and then say, getting started is very simple. All I need is a copy of your insurance, or a copy of your driver's license, proof of insurance, and we can get into seeing Miss Hewitt. Fair enough? You know, no. Okay, so we're off the line again.